Ladies and gentlemen, every person in this room was born with something sacred. Not just potential, but a purpose. And with that purpose comes a path. Some call it destiny, others call it calling. I call it the door. And whether you realize it or not, God has already chosen your door. Every person enters this world with more than just a heartbeat. They arrive with intention, with purpose, with something sacred placed within them. This purpose isn't a product of chance or circumstance. It's not something randomly assigned based on environment, talent, or even upbringing. It is something embedded deep within the soul, something divinely planted long before the first breath is ever taken. From the very beginning, your life was not an accident, and neither was your purpose. It is the reason you're here, the reason you've been given the particular mix of personality, strengths, weaknesses, and passions that you carry. The world may try to convince you otherwise. It may try to define you by numbers, grades, opinions, and trends, but the truth remains unchanged. Purpose is not man-made. It is God-given. Many spend their lives trying to discover what they were meant to do, often looking outward for answers, seeking validation from careers, from relationships, from recognition. But true purpose begins from within. It is not found in external achievement alone, but in the quiet knowing that your life has meaning that transcends titles and applause. You were designed for a mission, a calling, a door that only you can walk through. And because your purpose is tied to your identity, it cannot be stolen, copied, or replaced by anyone else. Others may share your skill set or your goals, but no one else has your exact fingerprint on the world. That is the beauty of divine design. Your purpose is personal. It is precise. Too often, people believe they must earn their worth or prove they deserve a path of meaning. But a God-given purpose is not something you qualify for. It's something you awaken to. It's already yours. You don't achieve it. You align with it. You recognize it through reflection, faith, and courage. The clues are often hidden in the things that stir your heart, the problems you feel burdened to solve, the people you're drawn to serve. These are not random preferences. They're signals pointing toward your door, the door that was chosen for you before you had the words to ask for it. Purpose also comes with responsibility. When something is given by God, it is not to be buried in fear or watered down by insecurity. It is to be cultivated, protected, grown, not for your ego, but for impact. Because your purpose is never just about you. It's about who you're called to lift, what you're called to create, and how your life is meant to light the way for others still searching for theirs. Recognizing that you have a purpose shifts how you move through life. You stop settling for mere survival. You stop mimicking the crowd. You begin to move with intention, speak with conviction, and live with greater awareness. You no longer live for permission. You live with direction. And when you realize that your purpose isn't something you have to find, but something that's already in you, everything changes. The idea that your door is already chosen is not just a comforting thought. It's a radical truth. It means that the life you're meant to live isn't something you have to invent from scratch. It's already designed, already aligned, already waiting. This doesn't mean life will hand it to you without effort, or that everything will come easily. It means that at the core of your journey is a path, a calling, a specific opportunity that was created with your name on it. Before you even had the awareness to dream, the design was already in motion. Before you made your first mistake, your door was already established. This truth challenges the pressure that so many carry, the pressure to figure it all out, to control every outcome, to constantly compete in a world that demands proof of progress. When we talk about your door, we're not referring to a random opportunity or a one-size-fits-all definition of success. This door is symbolic of the place where your purpose, passion, and divine timing intersect. It is the door that fits the shape of your soul. You won't have to force it open with manipulation or compromise. It will require effort, yes, but not desperation. The door that is yours will feel right at the deepest level, not just because it gives you something, but because it calls something out of you. It will stretch you, but it won't betray you. It will challenge you, but it won't confuse your identity. Understanding that your door is already chosen helps reframe setbacks and delays. Just because you haven't found it yet doesn't mean it isn't there. Just because you faced closed doors or wrong turns doesn't mean the right one doesn't exist. Sometimes the hallway is long, filled with doors that tempt or test, but the existence of those doors doesn't cancel out the one that is truly yours. You may have spent years knocking on doors that were never meant to open. You may have settled for doors that were easy, convenient, or expected. But the one chosen for you will not require you to shrink or pretend. It will honor your design. It will match your preparation. It will meet you at the level of who you are becoming, not who you used to be. There is peace in knowing that what is truly yours doesn't have to be chased endlessly or stolen from someone else. You don't have to strive to be seen or scramble to be chosen when you already are. This belief brings clarity in the midst of confusion and stillness in the face of competition. It invites you to walk by faith, not by sight. Even if you can't see the door yet, you can move toward it by listening to the direction of your spirit, paying attention to the nudges, the burdens, the patterns that point the way. The right door won't just open when you're lucky. It opens when you're ready, and it will never require you to become someone you're not in order to enter. One of the greatest challenges in life is knowing which doors to walk through and which ones to walk past. In a world overflowing with noise, distractions, and countless versions of success, it's easy to start chasing doors that were never meant for you. These doors are often the most visible, wrapped in status, money, popularity, or validation. They look good from the outside. They come with applause, admiration, and the illusion of fulfillment. But not every open door is an invitation, and not every opportunity is a blessing in disguise. Some doors were built for someone else's journey, not yours. Walking through them might offer temporary comfort, but in the long run they can lead you away from your true purpose. There is a cost to pursuing the wrong door. It drains your energy, clouds your vision, and pulls you further from alignment with your calling. The wrong door might offer fast rewards, but it will eventually require you to compromise who you are just to stay inside. You might find yourself reshaping your identity, chasing approval, or striving to maintain something that was never truly yours. This is how people end up in careers that pay well but leave them empty, in relationships that look perfect but feel wrong, or in positions of influence where they feel more lost than ever. The wrong door doesn't always slam shut. It often opens wide and invites you to lose yourself inside. Choosing the wrong door often begins with comparison. You look at someone else's path, see their success, and assume it must be yours too. But imitation is not inspiration. Your purpose is unique, and so is your process. You weren't made to duplicate someone else's calling. The danger of chasing the wrong door is that you might get it, only to realize it didn't satisfy the hunger you thought it would. It filled the ego, but not the soul. It boosted your image, but not your impact. And worst of all, it delayed your discovery of the door that was actually made for you. Sometimes, walking away from the wrong door takes more courage than stepping into the right one. It means turning down comfort. It means letting go of something that works on the surface but is misaligned underneath. It means risking being misunderstood, overlooked, or even criticized. But the more you say no to the wrong doors, the more clearly you'll hear the whisper of the right one calling you. That whisper doesn't always come with clarity at first. It comes with a subtle discomfort when something isn't right, a stirring in your spirit when you're headed in the wrong direction, or a moment of pause when everyone else is rushing forward. The right door won't require you to compromise your integrity, betray your peace, or constantly prove your worth. It won't ask you to perform or pretend, and while it may not always look glamorous, it will always feel grounded. It will challenge you in the best way, calling out your gifts and growing your faith. But before you find it, you must stop knocking on doors that don't fit the shape of your purpose. There is a profound difference between forcing your way through life and walking in faith. Many people spend their days pushing, striving, and wrestling with every obstacle, believing that if they don't fight for it with all their might, they won't get anywhere. This mindset often leads to burnout, frustration, and a false belief that success is only for those who never stop grinding. But what if the door you're meant to walk through doesn't respond to force? What if it doesn't require a fight, but a surrender? There are some doors that will not budge until you stop trying to control everything and start trusting that what is meant for you is already in motion. Forcing things into place is often rooted in fear. Fear of missing out, fear of failure, fear that if you don't hustle hard enough, the opportunity will slip away. But the truth is, what is divinely assigned to you will not be taken from you because you pause to breathe, to listen, or to realign. The more you force, the further you move from flow. When you operate from fear, your decisions become reactive instead of intentional. You jump at what looks good, not what feels right. You compromise, you settle. You strive to be noticed instead of standing in the quiet confidence of being chosen. Faith, on the other hand, allows you to move with peace. It gives you the strength to say no to things that look impressive but feel wrong. It gives you the courage to walk away from almost right so you can wait for exactly right. It teaches you to trust your intuition, your preparation, and most importantly, your purpose. Doors that open through faith often don't make sense to the world. They may not come with public approval or immediate rewards, but they align deeply with your spirit. They confirm what you've always known, even if you didn't have the words to say it. Sometimes the door won't open until you stop banging on it with desperation. It's not that you're not worthy, it's that you're not ready. And readiness has less to do with effort and more to do with surrender. When you shift from striving to trusting, everything changes. You begin to see that faith isn't weak. It's the strongest posture you can take. It requires patience, but it also unleashes a kind of momentum that force never could. Even though your door is already chosen, you are not exempt from effort. Purpose does not eliminate responsibility. It amplifies it. Knowing that there is a door with your name on it should not lead to passivity or entitlement. Instead, it should ignite a deeper level of commitment to become the version of yourself who is ready to walk through it. A chosen door does not open simply because you wish it would or because time has passed. It opens when you are prepared, when you are aligned, and when you have taken the steps necessary to meet the opportunity that has already been assigned to you. There is a misconception that if something is meant for you, it will come without resistance. But the truth is that anything truly worth having will ask something of you. It will ask for your growth, your discipline, your focus, and your willingness to stay the course when things get uncomfortable. A door chosen by God may be marked by grace, but it is not free of process. Effort is the bridge between vision and fulfillment. You may have been shown a glimpse of what is possible, but you still have to walk it out. You have to rise when it's easier to quit. You have to study when no one is watching. You have to speak when your voice shakes. The chosen door opens when your actions begin to reflect your belief in its existence. Many people sit in frustration, waiting for a breakthrough, not realizing that faith without works is motionless. The door may be chosen, but God honors preparation. You prepare not because you doubt, but because you expect. You practice, refine, and develop so that when the door swings open, you can step through with boldness instead of hesitation. It is not about perfection. It is about readiness. Every small act of discipline, every sacrifice made in silence, every step taken when results are not immediate, all of it builds the strength and character required to stand on the other side of that door. There will be seasons where it feels like you are walking with no clear sign of progress. You will question whether your steps matter, whether your consistency is making a difference. But the door is not always visible from where you are. That doesn't mean you aren't getting closer. Sometimes the greatest movements happen in stillness, in the hidden places where your faith is being refined. Movement toward your door isn't always about grand gestures or public wins. It's about daily obedience, quiet persistence, and refusing to let discouragement stop your motion. Faith isn't proven in the moments when everything is clear, when doors swing open easily, or when signs point directly to your next step. Faith is proven in the space between the promise and the fulfillment. In the silence, the waiting, the confusion, this is where real belief is tested and built. When nothing seems to be moving, when prayers feel unanswered, when effort seems invisible, that's where faith grows its roots. It's not hard to believe when everything is unfolding perfectly. The challenge is believing when nothing makes sense, when the hallway seems endless, and when every door you try remains closed. That silence is not the absence of progress, it is the atmosphere where faith becomes real. This in-between space can be the most difficult part of the journey. It's the stretch of time where questions multiply, doubts creep in, and discouragement tries to take hold. You may begin to wonder if you missed your chance, if you misunderstood the calling, or if the door was ever there in the first place. But this is where faith must rise higher than logic. Faith doesn't require visible confirmation. It requires trust in something greater than what you can currently see. The silence before the door opens is a sacred classroom, a place where your character is shaped, your patience is developed, and your endurance is tested. In the stillness, you learn to listen differently. You begin to distinguish between noise and guidance. You become more sensitive to the inner prompting that says keep going, even when your surroundings suggest otherwise. And while everything in you may crave answers, faith teaches you that not all clarity comes before the step. Sometimes clarity comes through the step. You don't get the full picture up front because you're being invited to walk forward in trust, not certainty. This waiting season is not wasted. It's not a pause in your purpose. It is part of your preparation. The silence teaches you to rely less on external validation and more on internal conviction. It reveals what you truly believe about your worth, your calling, and your resilience. It breaks your dependence on quick results and teaches you the value of quiet consistency. What's growing in you during this time is not always visible, but it is necessary. You're learning how to carry the weight of your purpose without crumbling under pressure. You're learning how to stand still in peace while the world around you chases chaos. When nothing is moving, something still is. Something inside you is strengthening. Something eternal is being built in your spirit. That kind of faith, the kind that waits without giving up, that trusts without seeing, that keeps showing up when no one is watching, is unshakable. It's the kind of faith that doesn't just lead you to the door. It makes sure that when the door opens, you're ready to walk through it with the strength, the clarity, and the stability you gained in the quiet. When you find the door that is truly meant for you, something deep inside settles. There is a peace that can't be faked and a clarity that doesn't have to be explained. It doesn't mean the door looks glamorous or that everything will be effortless once it opens, but it does mean that it feels right in a way that transcends logic. The right door fits not just your skills, but your soul. It aligns with your values, your passion, your desire. You're no longer chasing opportunities based on what they can give you. Instead, you're drawn to opportunities that ask something of you, that pull from the deepest parts of who you are, not just what you do. When you're walking in alignment with the door chosen for you, comparison begins to lose its grip. You stop trying to measure your life by someone else's timeline or accomplishments. You realize that fulfillment has very little to do with external success and everything to do with internal agreement. Your mind, heart, and actions begin to move in unison. You're no longer split between who you are and who you pretend to be. You're no longer performing to be accepted or striving to prove your worth. You've stepped into something that feels authentic even if it doesn't yet look perfect. This sense of clarity doesn't mean the path is without difficulty. In fact, the right door often comes with new levels of challenge and responsibility. But there's a difference between a challenge that crushes and a challenge that cultivates. The right door doesn't drain your spirit, it stretches it. It demands your growth, but it doesn't require your compromise. You're pushed, but not pulled apart. You're uncomfortable, but not confused. You're stretched, but never shattered. That's the power of alignment. That's the difference between striving for approval and walking in purpose. There's a shift that happens when you find your door. You stop hustling for every opportunity. You stop begging for acceptance. You stop molding yourself to fit expectations that were never yours to carry. The right door brings focus. You know what to say yes to. And just as importantly, you know what to walk away from. The noise quiets. The distractions lose their shine. You're no longer swayed by every trend or offer because you found something solid, something true, practices. And when people see you moving differently, they may not understand it. They may question why you turned down something big or chose a path that didn't seem obvious. But you'll know. You'll feel it in your gut, in your spirit, in your stillness. This is the place you were always meant to be. Finding the right door doesn't mean you stop evolving. It means your evolution now has direction. You're not just moving forward, you're moving with purpose. You're not just gaining ground, you're gaining depth. The clarity that comes with the right door allows you to build, to serve, to lead, and to live from a place of truth rather than pressure. You become rooted in who you are and where you're going. What is meant for you will not miss you. That statement holds a power that can calm anxiety, silence doubt, and restore hope when everything feels uncertain. There is a divine assurance in knowing that the opportunities aligned with your purpose are not dependent on perfect timing, flawless performance, or constant striving. They are rooted in a plan much greater than your own, one that takes into account your missteps, delays, fears, and even your failures. What is meant for you carries your name, your assignment, your blueprint. It doesn't belong to anyone else, and no one else can take it from you, no matter how ahead they seem or how far behind you feel. In a world obsessed with competition, it's easy to believe that if you don't act fast enough or achieve early enough, you'll miss your moment. That belief fuels insecurity, envy, and panic. But purpose is not a race. The path that was chosen for you cannot be taken by someone else. The timing attached to your door is yours alone. Even if someone tries to imitate what you do or replicate your steps, they cannot duplicate your impact. Well, because what's for you isn't just about what you do, it's about how you were created to do it. Your voice, your story, your experiences, and your insight all work together to shape the purpose only you can fulfill. Delays do not disqualify you. Detours don't mean you've been denied. Sometimes what looks like a missed opportunity is actually protection. Sometimes it's preparation. You may feel like doors have closed unfairly, like your chance has passed, or like someone else stepped through the opportunity that should have been yours. But divine timing never operates on fear or lack. If something didn't happen when you wanted it to, it's not always a sign of failure. It may be a signal that the timing wasn't yet mature for what you were meant to carry. There's a deep sense of peace that comes from releasing control over how and when things unfold. When you live with the mindset that what is meant for you will find you, you begin to move with greater confidence and less desperation. You stop chasing every open door and start discerning the right ones. You stop measuring your progress against someone else's path and start honoring the unique process you've been given. You begin to trust the pauses, respect the slow seasons, and find value in the preparation that no one sees. The truth is, the door God has chosen for you is not going to be lost in the shuffle. It will not be given to someone else because you took a little longer to get ready. It won't expire because of a mistake you made in the past. What's meant for you has been woven into the fabric of your journey, and even when it seems distant, it is still in motion. You're not behind, and you're not forgotten. The right door will meet you at the right time, and it will not require chasing, begging, or compromising who you are to open.